someone born during the Cold War but too young to remember it, the notion of a real, persistent threat of nuclear annihilation is hard to imagine. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come here. Playing a video game makes it easy to abstract nuclear war. It's less easy when you're standing in a facility designed for the purpose of waging it. But I don't want to lean too heavily on the doom and gloom here. Most of what I saw was just plain cool. My guide Dmitry, who had also driven me the 3 hours to the base from Kiev, wasted no time in showing me the ins and outs of this monument to mutually assured destruction.
As you see, it's double door system. The doors are very heavy. An officer entering this place should dial a special code. And here is a so-called decompression room in order to suspend a shockwave of possible nearby strike, atomic strike. So it's the system the same as it's in atomic submarines. So come inside.
I was immediately struck by how clean everything was, despite the equipment looking like it was from the 80s or earlier. As it turns out, the base was only decommissioned in 2000 and opened as a museum a year later. This first room was actually the top of a structure suspended inside of a silo, 45 meters tall.
So here are emergency exit holes like here and there. You see the stretchers for possibly wounded personnel.
To get to the lower levels of the structure, we got in the world's tiniest elevator with our not tiny Ukrainian base docent. Is there a separate elevator for freight or something? Or is this...
No,
wow.
It's the only one.
Wow.
Okay, so this compartment is for this personnel after they destroyed the whole world, you know? So actually it's never been used because this was designed to spend the time here after they push the button. And it was designed for 45 days. They used to have here everything needed, like food in the fridge, mostly canned food, and some drugs, some medicines here. Used to have radio set and television set, but what's the use after everyone died, you know? Here is the safe for pistols, for the guns, to kill themselves, you know, because I would, if I would be here after everyone outside is dead, and I am here for 45 days, what's the point? Samovar, it's Russian to make some tea. This yellow thing has 45 plates. Each plate is producing oxygen for 1 day. Here, as you see, is toilet, some water, but no shower.
It's a long 45 days.
Yeah. The telephone is working. You can call Mr. Putin if you like. Okay. How does it feel after you destroy the world?
It's comfy. but I smell really bad.
Oh, yeah,
I showered in 45. The living quarters were cool, but I was not prepared for what came next.
Okay. І камеру ще візьми. Дякую. Watch your head here. I'm filming. Okay, so this is the main room. The room to destroy the world. This is your seat. Take a seat, please. First of all, they would get the codes from Moscow on those screens. And then it takes two officers. They used to have keys to put into those keyholes and turn it right at the same time. You probably seen in American movies in famous red button, right? In reality, it's gray one, this one. So I will give you a countdown, And then the same time with our lovely guide, you will press the button and you will see what is happening. Okay? So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now what do we have here? It's red signs on is showing that real wartime regime on. This white one says that it's fully ready. This green one says that the launch has started. And this one says that launch is accomplished. So now you can start counting 22 minutes and then you nuked Washington DC.
Goodbye America, love.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry, everyone. After destroying America, we came to a room that housed the ventilation system, where I got to flip even more switches.
see what happens. Yeah, another one. And the third one.
1, 2, 3.
By this point, I had totally lost my sense of direction and depth.
Open up the door, please.
So you can imagine my surprise when I found on the other side of this door the ending to Portal 2. Topside sat entrances to other bunkers, along with radio equipment, and a bunch of colossal vehicles like missile transports, weird-looking fuel trucks, fire trucks, and this monster.
That would put the missile vertically into the silo. It was filled with liquid concrete, but some of them I heard are used by some farmers somewhere in Ukraine to store some vegetables. I don't know.
This vehicle's design was particularly chilling, featuring redundant drivers in case one became incapacitated.
We've just been there under the ground here. So this is the top of the this control center. Those are the emergency exits, emergency holes.
Dmitry then explained a bit about the base's defenses.
If you somehow, by some miraculous cross barbed wire and the high voltage, then possibly a sentinel from that green tower will shoot you down with a sniper rifle. If not, then you will be killed by the tanks. This one is T-80 and it's still being used by Ukrainian army in the east now. Some of them are kept here in the Ukrainian army for our own needs, unfortunately.
Then it was time for the big guns. The really big guns.
This is Voyevoda missile or SS-18 or Satan. This is actually a spaceship because it goes out into the outer space. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 stages and the top has the nuclear warheads. It has 5 real ones and 10 fake ones in order to confuse anti-rocket system, right? The range up to 15,000 kilometers, so literally anywhere in the world. Only here, only in this museum, because now it's being in service in Russian army, but they don't show it. This is one of the most powerful rockets in nowadays Ukrainian army called .U, and it's unfortunately some say that it was used during conflict in the east now, once or twice. And here are different types of rocket in use on Ukrainian fighter jets. And here we have laser navigation system. That green missile, that one was also on Cuba during the crisis. These are the different types of rocket engines. Most of them were produced in Ukraine. This is called Iron Maiden, just like famous band. Have to show it to Bruce Dickinson or Steve Harris. I bet he doesn't know about it.
The base also contained a museum in the former barracks, featuring a model of what was actually going on in the silo we were in.
What are the rest of the floors? Are those computers?
Yeah, the power system and other stuff.
As well as a Satan missile in its silo, taking up just as much space. The museum also housed small vehicles, distressing maps of dozens of other facilities just like ours,
This area was full of silos.
and some of the weirdest wedding photos I've ever seen.
Dimitri, what's the story with the wedding?
That couple just came here, brought by a tourist company, to make a photo session for wedding. And it's a real wedding. It's not a fake one.
One section showcased many of the weapons currently produced in Ukraine, which are no doubt being put to use in the eastern part of the country. Even at a place dedicated to the follies of the past, we were unfortunately reminded of the present day. War, it seems, never changes. On our way out, I tried to get a handle on the Ukrainian perspective of having a museum like this hanging around.
We are glad we have such kind of museum because it's really unique. But we are not very pleased that it was such a thing in our history. But you know, it's sort of saddens me because Ukraine has a lot more to show to foreigners. So this is the task for us, to promote Ukraine abroad properly, to show that we have a lot of things to see. And I hope that Ukraine will be a place for tourism.
From my perspective, it already is. Cloth Map is viewer supported by fine folks like these. If you'd like access to extended cuts, behind the scenes notes and documents, or would just like to support the project, head over to patreon.com/clothmap.